Hey everyone, welcome to Beer 101. I'm here to break down everything about beer, from the brewery to your glass. Whether you're a complete newbie or a seasoned beer enthusiast, we've got something for you. We'll be diving deep into the world of beer, exploring different types, flavors, and even some fun facts along the way. So grab your favorite brew, sit back, and get ready to become a true beer connoisseur. Get ready to impress your friends with your newfound knowledge. Cheers to that! Before we jump into the nitty-gritty of beer styles and brewing techniques, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Believe it or not, beer has been around for centuries, dating back to ancient civilizations. The earliest evidence of beer production dates back to around 7000 BC in Mesopotamia, which is present-day Iran. Monasteries became the epicenters of brewing, with monks honing their skills and developing new techniques that would shape the future of beer. From ancient Mesopotamia to medieval monasteries, beer has truly stood the test of time. All right, beer lovers, now that we've covered the basics, let's get down to the good stuff, how beer is actually made. The journey begins with malting, where barley grains are soaked, germinated, and then dried. This process activates enzymes that break down starches into sugars, which will later be essential for fermentation. Next up, we have mashing, where the malted barley is crushed and mixed with hot water, creating a sugary liquid called wort. The wort is then filtered to remove any solid particles, leaving behind a clear, sweet liquid that's ready for the next stage. Speaking of hops, these little green cones are like the rock stars of the beer world. They come in different varieties, each with its unique characteristics, adding complexity and depth to the beer. Once the boil is complete, the hopped wort is cooled down rapidly to prepare for the next stage, fermentation. Yeast is added to the cooled wort, and these tiny organisms get to work, consuming the sugars and producing alcohol and carbon dioxide as byproducts. Fermentation is a delicate process that can take anywhere from a few days to several weeks, depending on the beer style and the yeast strain used. Once fermentation is complete, the beer is typically transferred to conditioning tanks or kegs for further maturation. This allows the flavors to meld and the beer to clarify, resulting in a smoother, more refined taste. Finally, the beer is packaged and ready to be enjoyed. This could involve bottling, canning, or kegging. Each packaging method has its pros and cons, but ultimately, it's all about getting that delicious beer into the hands of eager consumers. Next time you crack open a cold one, take a moment to appreciate the artistry and science that went into creating that perfect sip. All right, beer fans, now that we've got the brewing basics down, let's talk about the two major players in the beer world, ales and lagers. Ales are brewed with top fermenting yeast, which prefers warmer temperatures and tends to produce fruitier, more complex flavors. Lagers, on the other hand, use bottom fermenting yeast, which thrives in cooler conditions and creates a smoother, crisper taste. Both have their place, depending on your mood and taste preferences. Now, within each category, there's a whole universe of beer styles, each with its own unique characteristics. Let's dive a little deeper into the world of ales, shall we? As I mentioned earlier, ales are brewed with top fermenting yeast. These yeast strains are real party animals, fermenting quickly at warmer temperatures. Ale yeast is known for producing a wide range of esters and phenols during fermentation, which contribute to the complex aromas and flavors we associate with ales. Think fruity esters like banana and clove in a Belgian wit beer, or the spicy phenols that give a saison its peppery kick. Brewers can manipulate fermentation conditions and yeast strains to create a wide range of flavor profiles. Now let's shift gears and explore the world of lagers, those smooth operators of the beer world. Unlike their ale counterparts, lagers rely on bottom fermenting yeast, which prefers cooler temperatures and takes its sweet time to ferment. This slow and steady fermentation at lower temperatures results in a cleaner, crisper flavor profile with less ester and phenol production. A well-crafted Pilsner, for example, boasts a perfect balance of malt sweetness, hop bitterness, and a clean finish that leaves you wanting more. So, don't underestimate the power of a well-made lager. It's a testament to the brewer's skill and the magic of slow fermentation. All right, beer enthusiasts, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, flavor. You see, beer is a symphony for your taste buds. We're talking fruity, spicy, floral, earthy, and everything in between. Sweetness often comes from the malt, while bitterness is typically attributed to hops. Beyond those basic tastes, beer boasts a complex array of aromas and flavors that stem from ingredients, fermentation, and even aging. Start by paying attention to the beer's aroma before you even take a sip. What do you smell? Fruity notes? Spicy hints? Now let's talk about something that's always a hot topic in the beer world: alcohol by volume, or ABV for short. You'll see this number printed on every beer label, and it tells you the percentage of alcohol in that particular brew. ABV can range from as low as 2% in some light beers to a whopping 12% or higher in stronger brews like imperial stouts or barley wines. But don't let the ABV scare you away from exploring different beers. It's all about knowing your limits and drinking responsibly. So next time you're checking out a new beer, take a glance at the ABV. It's a good indicator of what to expect in terms of strength and intensity. Now, it's time to address some common beer myths that have been floating around for far too long. And let's start with a big one. Dark beer is always stronger than light beer. False. The color of a beer is primarily determined by the types of malts used in the brewing process. Darker malts are roasted for longer periods, giving them those rich, chocolatey, or coffee-like flavors. So the next time someone tells you that dark beer is always stronger, you can confidently drop some beer knowledge and debunk that myth. Cheers to busting this beer myth! All right, beer buddies, let's talk about how to treat your beer right once you get it home. First rule of beer club: temperature is key. Keep those brews cool, ideally between 38 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. A cool, dark place will do the trick. Think basement, pantry, or a mini fridge. And for the love of hops, keep those beers away from direct sunlight. Now let's settle a debate as old as time, or at least as old as aluminum cans. Bottles versus cans. Which one reigns supreme in the battle for beer packaging dominance? Well, grab your popcorn, beer lovers, because this is where things get interesting. Back in the day, bottles were the undisputed king of beer packaging. They had that classic look, and let's be honest, there's something satisfying with hearing the clink when the bottle cap is popped open with a bottle opener. But then came the aluminum can, shaking things up like a party crasher with a six-pack. Cans have some serious advantages. They're lighter, more portable, and they cool down faster. Plus, they're like Fort Knox for beer, keeping out light and oxygen. Those pesky culprits that can make your beer taste like a skunk's gym socks. But bottles still have their fans, and for good reason. They're often seen as more traditional and aesthetically pleasing, especially for those craft brews with fancy labels. And some argue that glass doesn't impart any flavor to the beer, although honestly I've never tasted a metallic hint from a can. So, who wins? It's a tie. Both bottles and cans have their pros and cons, and ultimately, the best choice comes down to personal preference and the specific beer you're drinking. Just remember, whether it's in a bottle or a can, the most important thing is that the beer inside is delicious. All right, my thirsty comrades, imagine this. You're at a bar, the music's pumping, the conversation's flowing, and you're faced with a beer menu that looks like it was written in ancient Sanskrit. Don't panic. Your boy's got your back. First things first, take a deep breath. There's no need to be intimidated. Remember, bartenders are there to help you navigate this delicious labyrinth of beer. Don't be afraid to ask questions. They'd rather guide you to a beer you'll love than watch you suffer through a pint of something you can't stand. Now let's talk strategy. Start by scanning the menu for familiar territory. Do you see any beer styles you've heard of or tried before? Maybe an IPA, a Pilsner, or a Stout. If you see something you recognize, that's a good starting point. If everything looks foreign, don't sweat it. Look for clues in the descriptions. Many bars will provide brief descriptions of each beer, highlighting key flavor profiles. Do you prefer something light and refreshing? Look for words like crisp, citrusy, or easy drinking. Craving something bolder and more complex? Keep an eye out for terms like hoppy, roasty, or full-bodied. Okay, now that we've covered the basics of deciphering a beer menu, let's break down some common beer terms you're likely to encounter. Think of this as your crash course in beer lingo, guaranteed to impress your friends and maybe even score you some bonus points with the bartender. First up, we have the IPA or India Pale Ale. This hoppy hero has taken the beer world by storm, and for good reason. IPAs are known for their bold, bitter flavors and aromas, often with citrusy, piney, or floral notes from the generous use of hops. If you're a fan of bitterness and crave a beer with a kick, IPAs are your jam. Next, we have the Pilsner, a classic lager style that's all about crisp, clean flavors. Pilsners are known for their refreshing qualities, with a delicate balance of malt sweetness and hop bitterness. Think of them as the ultimate thirst quenchers, perfect for warm weather or after a long day. And then there's the Stout, the dark night of the beer world. Stouts are known for their rich roasted flavors, often with notes of chocolate, coffee, or even caramel. They're typically full-bodied and can range in ABV from sessionable to dangerously delicious. If you're looking for a beer with depth and complexity, stouts are a great choice. Now, let's talk about beer color, because, let's face it, we eat, or drink, with our eyes first. Beer comes in a rainbow of colors, from the palest straw to the deepest black. And while color isn't always an indicator of flavor, it can give you some hints about what to expect. On the lighter end of the spectrum, we have beers like Pilsners, lagers, and wheat beers. These beers are typically light in body and flavor, often with refreshing, crisp qualities. Think of them as the gateway beers, perfect for those new to the world of craft brews. As we move towards the middle of the spectrum, we encounter beers like pale ales, amber ales, and IPAs. These beers tend to have more pronounced hop bitterness and aromas, often with citrusy, floral, or piney notes. They're a step up in terms of flavor intensity, perfect for those who like a little more punch to their pint. And finally, we reach the darker end of the spectrum, where stouts, porters, and brown ales reside. These beers boast rich, roasted flavors, often with notes of chocolate, coffee, caramel, or even dried fruit. They're full-bodied and complex, perfect for sipping and savoring. All right, folks, let's get real for a second. Why do we even drink beer? I mean, there's a whole world of beverages out there, fancy cocktails with umbrellas, that mysterious elixir called wine, even plain old water. But there's something about beer, something that keeps us coming back for more. Maybe it's the taste. From light and refreshing lagers to rich and complex stouts, there's a beer out there for every palate. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure for your taste buds. Or maybe it's the social aspect. Beer brings people together, whether it's cheering on your favorite team at the bar, sharing a cold one with friends after work, or even just cracking open a cold one by yourself after a long day. It's a social lubricant, a conversation starter, a shared experience. But there's something deeper, too. Beer is steeped in history, tradition, and craftsmanship. It's a reminder of simpler times when things were made with care and attention to detail. And in a world that's constantly moving at warp speed, there's something comforting about that. So the next time someone asks you, why beer? Just smile, raise your glass, and say, why not? It's a toast to good taste, good company, and the simple pleasures in life. Newbie? No sweat. Your beer journey starts now. Don't worry, I'm here to guide you. Think of me as your beer Sherpa. Ditch any preconceived notions, like dark beer is always strong or all beer tastes bitter. Total myths. There's a whole universe of flavors waiting to be explored. Want a beer that is light and crisp? Try a lager or Pilsner. Prefer something fruity and smooth? Try wheat beers like Hefeweizens or Belgian Wits. How about a beer that's bold and bitter? Then IPAs might be your jam. Or maybe a beer that's rich and roasty. A stout or porter might surprise you. Grab a flight to your local bar or brewery. Most offer 4 or 5 small pours, so you can try a little of everything without committing to a full pint. Ask the bartender for recommendations. Tell them what you normally drink, like soda, coffee, or wine, and they can suggest something similar in beer form. Pro tip: keep a note on your phone of what you liked, style, brewery, flavor. That way you'll start to see a pattern in what you enjoy. And most importantly, have fun with it. Beer tasting isn't about being a snob. It's about discovering what you like and enjoying the ride. And have fun with it. Cheers! Mark your calendars, beer aficionados. International Beer Day is for you. Typically held worldwide on the first Friday of every August, it's a day to celebrate the golden nectar that brings us together. Cheers to all the brewers, bartenders, and beer buddies. Try a new brew and join this global celebration. Imagine Oktoberfest vibes in August. From Germany to NYC, it's a worldwide toast. Ditch the spreadsheets and enjoy a cold one. You get to enjoy experiences you might not have otherwise. Some offer organized tasting event where you try new limited edition or seasonal beers. Some may even offer tours of a local brewery where you get an in-depth look into the brewing process, allow you to connect with local breweries, and can even be a fun and engaging way to learn about craft beer. Let's raise a toast to our local brewers. Let's explore the global landscape of beer consumption. Beer isn't just a drink, it's a cultural phenomenon, deeply woven into traditions, festivals, and everyday life around the world. First stop, the Czech Republic. They hold the title for the highest per capita beer consumption. They average 180 liters per person per year. That's more than 300 pints each. Interestingly, beer is often cheaper than bottled water in Czech restaurants. Locals see beer as a point of national pride, and it's commonly enjoyed with meals, not just at bars. Their signature brew is Pilsner, which originated in the city of Pilsen. Next, Germany. They rank among the top in total beer consumption. Oktoberfest in Munich attracts over 6 million visitors who consume more than 7 million liters of beer in just 2 weeks. Popular styles in Germany are Pilsner, Hell, Weissbier, Wheat beer, and Dunkel, dark lager. In Asia, beer is rapidly gaining popularity. China is the world's largest beer market by volume, with massive local brands like Snow Beer and Tsingtao. In Japan, beer dominates the alcohol market, and nomikai, after-work drinking sessions, often revolve around beer. South Korea and Vietnam are also showing strong growth in beer consumption, fueled by youth culture and rising incomes. And of course, the US of A, a nation of beer lovers. The home to over 9,000 breweries, the most in the world. The craft beer movement exploded in the 1990s, now contributing billions to the economy. American-style IPAs are internationally popular, with their bold, hoppy flavor. While overall beer consumption has declined slightly, craft and non-alcoholic beers are rising. Beer is a staple at barbecues, sports events, and college parties. It's a major part of American social life. So, there you have it, beer lovers. We've journeyed from the ancient art of brewing to the latest trends in craft beer, explored flavor profiles, busted myths, and even traveled the world, all in the name of our favorite beverage. Remember, folks, the world of beer is vast and ever-evolving. What we've covered today is just the tip of the iceberg. My advice? Stay curious, keep exploring, and never be afraid to try something new. Whether you're a seasoned hophead or just dipping your toes into the craft beer scene, there's always something new to discover. Talk to brewers, ask questions, and let your taste buds be your guide. The most important thing is to enjoy the journey. Beer is meant to be savored, shared, and appreciated. So gather your friends, raise a glass, and toast to the simple pleasures in life. And hey, if you ever find yourself at a bar with a beer menu that looks like a foreign language, don't panic. Just remember what you've learned today, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Until next time, cheers to good beer, good company, and the adventures that await.